wasn't.
good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let me just check and make sure everything's okay before I keep talking.
Dude, I hope this isn't too bad on the VOD side because I don't want to have to upload 4 parts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're good.
Okay. Yeah.
Had a little scare there. So yeah, I guess yeah, I want to watch more Japanese.
I need to see
cinema.
more Kurosawa.
Yeah,
and
I'd like
Ozu.
to see that.
Because have you only seen Seven Samurai?
Yeah.
I would highly recommend Rashomon.
Okay.
And High and Low is really good. That's actually a modern it takes place in it's obviously an old movie. It's the 60s, but it takes place in the 60s.
Oh, interesting.
So he doesn't have a lot of, and I think that's also Toshiro Mifune, who is the main character in Seven Samurai.
Oh, okay.
Which is one of the best acting performances in any movie ever. I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Seven Samurai. You weren't that big on that.
I liked it, but I watched it in kind of a weird, I watched it across 2 days or something like that.
I think I did too.
I thought it was I enjoyed it, but I just didn't get that much from it.
I think I love that movie.
I think I would enjoy it more if I rewatched it now.
I think that might be the best written movie I've ever seen.
Really?
I think so. I think there's something just really strong with that movie's script. Yeah. I think it's just so, and obviously Kurosawa is one of the best directors of all time, so the directing is really strong too.
Yeah.
And like I said, Toshiro Mifune is the main character, the crazy samurai guy he's awesome.
The Seven Samurai.
Yeah. We should do an episode of that sometime.
Yeah,
I'd be down.
I'd be down.
It's a 3.5 hour long movie, so I think we could fill a whole episode of just that movie.
Yeah, there's also a show that's been talked about a lot lately. I'm forgetting the name of it. Oh, I think it's just called Shogun. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's about a European guy who ends up in Japan, feudal Japan, and gets caught up in some shogun wars going on. It's supposed to be good. I watched the first episode and it was kind of giving Disney Channel movie. I don't know why. It was there because there's a British Portuguese guy who's in Japan and there's a bunch of Japanese people there speaking Japanese. But the British guy is well, I never thought I'd be with a Japanese guy. I don't know. It's really it's kind of corny, I guess. But
yeah.
I've been wanting to give it more of a shot because I've heard a lot of good things. So now I think after watching Onibaba, I'm kind of in the vibe for that kind of period of history stuff going on. I think it's cool. Also, this is random too, but I really like Game of Thrones. I started rereading. Or I started reading it. I'd already seen the series, but I hadn't read it. I started reading Game of Thrones not that long ago. I've been kind of on a pause, but one thing that I like about the book versus the movie that I think is not so, or book versus the show, that I think isn't translated as well is the book makes a point of kind of showing the suffering of a lot of the peasants, you see in Onibaba, for instance, in Game of Thrones, you get the macro scale of the kings fighting and all the motivations and what they want. But then you see really the only people who face the consequences, or the people who face the most consequences of that, are the peasants and everyday people who have to be recruited into the army, suffer the most horrible conditions ever. Arya, who's a character in Game of Thrones, she exemplifies that kind of storyline in the most interesting and compelling way. And yeah, I like hearing history from the side of the people who had a shitty time.
Yeah.
I guess it's interesting to me, and it's something that I feel you don't hear about as much. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I guess closing up, Onibaba is an awesome movie.
Yep.
I mean, it's a classic, but I feel it's kind of underrated, especially probably in Japan it's probably very beloved, but
yeah.
But here in the West, I think it's very underrated. I think I think more so. I think it's in a weird way, it's more accessible than Tokyo Story. I I don't know if you'd agree
Depends what you're looking for, I think. If you're in for like a cult, crazy, weird horror movie and that's your style, then I feel like Onibaba is very accessible. But if you're in the mood for like a slow, subtle, character-driven story, then like Tokyo Story is like definitely the one for you. And like I know people who would like definitely prefer some over the other. You know what I mean?
Which movie did you prefer?
Honestly, this might sound weird, but like I'd say it literally depends on my mood.
That makes
like,
sense.
like I think for me, I did not watch Tokyo Story in the best circumstances. Like, not to say that I disliked it or like whatever, but it is kind of like slow and character driven and stuff. And I like was coming off of like a lot of crazy stuff going on at in work and like doing a lot of things. So I was kind of like tired. And like I think when you're like tired or like drained, it's like hard to get into a movie that's like you kind of have to work for it, if that makes sense.
It's interesting because I watched it in like 2 sittings.
Oh yeah,
and
me too.
So I watched it, some of it last night, some of it this morning. I actually got up really early.
Nice.
But at the first like my first setting, I was getting that feeling a little bit, but like when I was like awake and after I had like my coffee and stuff, I was like I really got sucked into it.
No, I feel like I wish I'd seen it in the movie, or I wish I'd seen the movie in the morning. I watched Onibaba in the morning, and I was like totally locked in. But like, I feel like with Onibaba, you don't need as much of like a like. It doesn't require as much on your part because it's just like crazy and like weird and like you're gonna see stuff. Not necessarily like being bored, you know. But I feel like with Tokyo Story, you need to kind of like be more of an active viewer. Which I feel like a morning viewing is like ideal. Like I realized too, watching Onibaba this morning, watching movies in the morning is like one of my favorite things to do.
It's underrated.
I love doing it. Like I remember, I know we talked about this previously, but we watched Inland Empire in the morning.
Yeah.
That was like one of my favorite Lynch watching experiences, just because it's like I don't know, something about watching movies in the morning, like you're a blank slate and like you're just like more susceptible to like ideas being imprinted on you. You know what I mean? And you're less like mentally, or I feel like I'm less mentally sluggish. So.
I think I prefer Tokyo Story, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, no, I think in the right mindset, like if I watched both of them in the morning, I think I'd probably prefer Tokyo Story. But I think it's also really close, and just kind of due to outside factors, both of them are really good.
Yeah, you're right. Watching movies in the morning is kind of sick.
Yeah.
But I think unless do you have any final thoughts?
It's awesome time. It's good to watch movies. I'm glad we're watching movies for the show. It's fun. It's like good incentive to like do something fun.
And I like doing the double feature thing. That was really fun.
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, we've done double features before, right?
But like I just really like this format.
Yeah, it's fun to compare and contrast. But thank you everyone for watching.
Shout out all the good people in the world.
Yeah, shout out Miniki.
Yes.
Shout out my mom. Shout out
my moms.
Shout out.
Sounds like I have 2 moms. I only have 1 mom.
Shout out to your 1 moms.
Yeah, my 1 moms.
And shout out to the country of Japan.
Yeah, shout out. They have some conservative values I'm not a big fan of, but they have also a very rich culture.
Yep,
that I really like.
Good movies.
Some great games.
And
great music.
Great games and great music even.
Yeah!
And shout out to everyone in the world who's awesome, but not shout out to
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Okay. Yeah.
Elon Musk and Donald Trump's.
Everyone. Peace.
Peace. Love.
There's something
awesome. All right. Bye.